Be prepared. This week isn't like the others. Something is stirring beneath the surface, an invisible wave that touches your heart before your mind can even explain. You feel it, don't you? That sudden pull towards someone you can't forget. That ache in your soul that doesn't belong to this lifetime. It's not nostalgia, it's not longing. It's awakening. The twin flame journey is activating across timelines. And this wave will reach everyone. Even those who ran, even those who forgot. The universe is realigning connections that were written before time. And when this energy hits, silence breaks, signs multiply, and souls begin to remember. You might dream of them, feel their pain, hear a song and burst into tears. That's not coincidence, that's the call. The call to awaken, to feel, to remember what your mind once erased, but your soul never forgot. Are you ready for the return of something ancient, something sacred, something only the two of you can unlock? This is the week the veil thins, the pulse gets louder, and the love you thought was lost begins to rise again. But only if you're open enough to feel it and brave enough to follow. Because once this portal opens, nothing will ever feel normal again. There is something ancient moving through the air right now. A vibration that doesn't belong to logic or linear time, but to soul memory. You may not have words for it yet, but your body already knows. The tension in your chest, the dreams that feel too vivid, the sudden emotional waves out of nowhere. They're not just you. They're a sign that the collective awakening of the twin flame journey has begun. You are not imagining the intensity. This week, something subtle but powerful is being switched on in those who carry the frequency of divine connection. And if you're reading this, you're one of them. There's no ritual to perform, no mantra to repeat, just a deep inner listening. Because this isn't about trying to wake up, it's about realizing you already are. Across the planet, thousands are feeling the same pull. The runner feels the echo of what they left behind. The chaser begins to detach and reclaim power. The energies are inverting, rebalancing. What once felt one-sided is about to shift into mutual recognition. But this doesn't happen through words. It happens through alignment. Do you feel the magnetic current rising? The sense that someone is thinking of you even if you haven't spoken in months? That's not delusion, that's connection. Twin flames are linked beyond time, and this week, Jupiter's expansion and the lunar residue are enhancing the etheric chords between soul pairs. The longing is mutual now, and the recognition unstoppable. You might feel exhausted, like you're carrying more than your own emotions. That's because the collective twin flame field is sinking. The energy grid between divine counterparts is lighting up, preparing for convergence. And as this happens, many will start remembering pieces of the journey they had buried, not to suffer, but to integrate. Have you noticed you're less interested in external validation and more drawn to silence, dreams, and signs? That's part of the recalibration. This week isn't about chasing, it's about receiving. Let the frequencies come to you. Let the memories rise. Let the past dissolve so that the soul contract can reassemble in truth. The collective isn't waking up at once by accident. It's orchestration. You are a part of this wave. Your story, your ache, your love, all of it matters more than you know. So take care of your field, Anchor your light, and above all, trust what you feel more than what you see. The timeline of divine reunion has already begun, and this week it's only getting louder. Why you're feeling things you can't explain. You haven't lost your mind. You've entered a moment where reality bends and the veil thins just enough for your soul to whisper through your skin. That tightness in your chest, that wave of grief that came out of nowhere, the way your body suddenly heats up, tingles, trembles, and you don't know why. You're not broken. You're remembering, and your body is the first to know. Before the mind understands, the body reacts. Before the story unfolds, the nervous system trembles with echoes of the past and premonitions of what's coming. This is why you may feel like you're crying someone else's tears. This is why you wake up with a heart that feels like it's been running, even though your day was silent. The twin flame frequency doesn't speak in language. It speaks in sensation. And this week, your body is the antenna, not your logic. When your heart races without cause, when your hands tremble after a dream, when your body feels full of an energy you didn't invite, pause. You are receiving, not from the world, but from your twin. There's a reason your skin is more sensitive. There's a reason your appetite changed. There's a reason your intuition is screaming louder than usual. You are syncing with the vibration of another soul, and the space between you is thinning because your emotional body is not just yours. In a twin flame bond, it is a shared space, a spiritual womb of transformation. And when one moves, the other feels. So when you suddenly feel joy for no reason, it may be their breakthrough. When you feel a sharp sadness at the edge of your breath, it may be their longing. You are not crazy. You are connected. And this week, the current is strong. Can you trust the pull without needing a reason? Can you honor the tears even when you can't explain them? Because what's rising now isn't meant to be explained. It's meant to be felt, transmuted, and released. Your spiritual sensitivity is not a curse. It's a compass, a map through this invisible territory. And if you're being flooded with sensations, it means the activation is working. The union is humming. The frequencies are speaking to each other without words. And here's the truth no one tells you. The more sensitive you are this week, the closer you are to the shift. The more you surrender to what you feel without needing to fix or control it, the faster the grid realigns. The timelines collapse, and your soul contract begins to vibrate through the layers of your life. The masculine may not know why he suddenly misses you, but he does. The feminine may not know why her heart aches in waves, but she knows it's real. And in this mutual mystery, the field is doing the work. So don't silence your symptoms. Don't run from the feelings. Let them burn through the blocks. Let them cleanse the channel. Let them show you what your eyes can't see yet. That something ancient is returning. And you are the vessel, the conduit, the sacred witness. Because the twin flame journey never begins in the mind. It begins in the pulse, the shiver, the unexplainable. You thought you had already healed this. That chapter, that heartbreak, that moment you swore you'd never look back on. Suddenly, it's here again. Not as punishment, not because you failed, but because your soul contract is reactivating. And the wounds that once broke you are now the doors that will open you. This is the part of the journey that makes most people retreat, because it doesn't look like love. It looks like pain resurfacing, shame returning, guilt creeping in. But what if it's not regression? What if it's resurrection? This week, you might find yourself thinking about the person who shattered your trust, the one who walked away, or the moment you silenced your truth just to be accepted. And you'll wonder, why now? Why is this coming up again when I was doing so well? But healing is not linear. It's spiral, and every spiral returns you to the same point, but with new eyes, new strength, and a new frequency. The old wound is back because this time you are different. You're not here to collapse. You're here to reclaim. And this return of pain is not to reopen what hurt, but to release what you absorbed in silence. The beliefs you made about yourself, the lies you swallowed to survive, the fears you buried because no one held space for them before. Now they rise, not to harm you, but to be seen, to be blessed, to be dissolved. Twin flames carry mirrored pain. So when your counterpart's contract starts to awaken, your shadows will stir too. Not because they hate you, but because the path to sacred union must pass through sacred remembrance of everything you forgot, everything you hid, everything you denied in order to be enough. Are you willing to see yourself now through divine eyes? The ache in your chest may not be about your twin directly. It may be about the version of you who wasn't loved when it mattered most. The child who begged to be seen. The woman who gave everything and was left behind. The soul who still thinks they need to earn connection instead of embody it. This week's energy pulls those timelines into the now, because no union can rise upon a foundation that still hides its cracks. The light is coming, but it will expose first. And what it exposes is not weakness, it's readiness. You are ready to love from wholeness, not from emptiness. You are ready to connect without rescuing, without shrinking. You are ready to walk toward the mirror, not for validation, but for liberation. So when the old wound knocks again, answer with reverence. Sit with the emotion. Let it speak. Let it show you the version of you who still needs to be held by you. Because this is the reactivation of the promise you made before this lifetime. That you would remember who you are, even through pain. That you would feel it all, even when it broke you. That you would come back for yourself. And now, as your twin flames contract begins to awaken, your timeline does too. The karmic cords begin to unravel. The soul agreements that were frozen in time start to burn through the fog. And everything that ever hurt you begins to lose its grip. Not because it's gone, but because you are finally bigger than it. There is no shortcut through this part. But there is gold buried in the ache. There is clarity in the tears. There is grace in the shadows. And above all, there is reunion, not just with your twin, but with the most sacred version of yourself. The one who is whole, even when healing. The one who is rising, even when remembering. There is a subtle gravity moving beneath this week, one that doesn't speak in words, but in magnetic waves. The kind of pull that brings your heart to life before your logic can catch up. It's not just energy, It's the divine masculine and divine feminine being pulled back into harmonic resonance, whether they realize it or not. You've been dancing on opposite sides of the same flame. One runs, the other reaches. One silences, the other speaks too loud. One forgets, the other remembers too much. But now, the roles are shifting. And the gap between those polarities is beginning to collapse. Because the soul remembers what the mind resists, and no matter how far they've gone, no matter how deep your silence has become, the echo of this connection still vibrates at the core of both. That's why you feel them in the middle of your sleep. That's why you dream of conversations that haven't happened. And yet, somehow, you both already know the words. The twin flame bond does not begin with reunion. It begins with alignment. And this week, alignment begins again. The masculine is being called inward, away from distraction, away from illusion, into the depths of his unspoken truth. He may not admit it, he may not even understand it, but he feels it. A tightness in his chest, an ache he can't explain, a longing he buried under success, silence, or survival. Now, the emotional walls are cracking. The mind is exhausted, and the soul is louder than ever. The feminine, too, is awakening in a different way. Not by chasing, not by waiting, but by anchoring into herself, by choosing herself, by becoming the magnetic presence that no longer needs to beg to be seen. She is no longer the seeker. She is the signal, the pulse, the beacon, and her radiance is no longer dimmed by rejection or delay. She knows now that detachment is not abandonment. It is power. And in this dance of opposites, something begins to emerge. A field where they are no longer split. No longer just archetypes, but frequencies. Seeking balance inside and out. The masculine begins to feel. The feminine begins to rise. And between the inhale and exhale, the union begins to breathe again. Can you feel the subtle pull in your belly? The way your body prepares even when your mind doubts? That's not fantasy. That's field memory. That's soul current. What you're experiencing this week is not a fantasy of reunion. It's the prelude to integration. You are not waiting anymore. You are syncing. You are vibrating in harmony with what already belongs to you on a higher plane. But this also means the triggers may rise. You may see flashes of the past, or feel overwhelmed by emotions that once made you doubt everything. That's not regression, it's recalibration. As the masculine begins to feel, his resistance rises before it melts. As the feminine begins to release, her heart tests her one last time. Do you still love yourself when he doesn't come back right away? These are sacred questions, not tests, invitations, because the field is pulling you both forward, not in ego, but in essence. Not to complete each other, but to remember that you were never truly separate. So breathe, cry if you need to, scream if it moves through you. But don't numb this moment. You are being drawn into a sacred corridor, one where energy precedes contact, where the reunion is not first a message, or a visit, or a kiss, but emerging in the ether, a recognition in the vibration. And once this recognition lands, it begins to ripple across timelines. It begins to shift choices. It begins to reprogram the bond that was once distorted by fear, karma, and delay. The masculine may not say it, but he feels you. The feminine may not expect it, but she senses what's coming. And in that invisible space between word and knowing, the reunion begins to right itself again. How to stay grounded during the twin flame awakening. The energy is high. The emotions are swirling. Signs are showing up faster than you can process them. And in the middle of it all, your nervous system is screaming for breath. Because while the soul knows how to fly, the body still needs to land. This is the paradox of awakening. You are expanding beyond yourself, and yet being asked to stay inside yourself fully. So how do you stay grounded in a journey that was never meant to make logical sense? You begin by remembering this. Your body is not separate from your spiritual path. It is the temple through which that path unfolds, and right now, your system may feel overloaded, sensitive, spinning. Because the frequency of reunion is not just emotional, it's cellular. When a soul contract reactivates, when timelines begin to collapse into one another, the body registers it first. That's why you may be tired for no reason, why you feel pressure in your chest or crown, why your sleep is disrupted or your digestion feels off. Your system is not malfunctioning, it's upgrading. But like any upgrade, it requires space. So give yourself space. You do not need to chase clarity right now. You need to rest. Drink water with intention. Touch your heart as you breathe. Eat grounding foods. Step away from the noise. Because the more intense the energy gets, the more sacred your stillness becomes. Grounding isn't about escaping the connection. It's about being able to hold it. You cannot embody the vibration of divine union if your feet are not on the earth. And no matter how strong the pull toward your twin feels this week, no matter how vivid the dreams or how deep the ache, you must remain anchored in yourself. Because your reunion doesn't begin out there. It begins in your root, in your breath, in your trust. And here's the secret most overlook. The more grounded you are, the faster the energy can move. Chaos slows down in a grounded body. Triggers soften, signs become clear. Guidance comes without needing to be begged for. You no longer confuse emotional flooding with divine message. You simply know. You were never meant to carry this intensity without support. So support yourself. Take a salt bath, not just to relax, but to cleanse energy you may have picked up from your twin. Light a candle, not just for ambiance, but as a way to anchor intention. Speak aloud your truth, even if no one's listening, because your field hears you. And that voice matters. Have you felt pulled into his pain this week? Do you wake up feeling his weight before your day even begins? That's empathy, yes, but it must be transmuted. Don't carry what isn't yours, bless it, and send it back. Grounding also means sovereignty. And sovereignty means choosing yourself without guilt. It means remembering that your light is not here to be dimmed just because someone else isn't ready. That you don't need to suppress your brilliance to match their silence. The masculine is feeling the field, but he doesn't always know what to do with it. That's not your job to fix. Your job is to embody the energy that anchors this shift, to hold the signal, not the storm. And if the emotions become too much, breathe them. Move them. Let them rise through you, not stop inside you. Let the body express what the soul is processing. This is not weakness. This is integration. Because the truth is, your groundedness is what magnetizes reunion. Your regulation is what allows remembrance. And your stability is what invites him to rise, not through pressure, but through reflection. This isn't about detachment or denial. It's about sacred embodiment. You can love him and still choose yourself. You can feel him and still remain centered. And in doing so, you create the one thing the journey always needed: a safe space, a rooted soul, a heart that doesn't collapse under connection, but expands because of it. So stay here, in your breath, in your body, in your truth. The awakening is real, but only a grounded soul can hold what's about to arrive. If your heart feels full and broken at the same time, you're not alone. If you're sensing that something huge is coming, but can't quite name it, you're not lost. If you're crying without reason, smiling through your tears, feeling everything and nothing in the same breath, then you are exactly where you're meant to be. This is the culmination of a sacred echo. The activation wave that started in silence now reaches your soul in full volume. And here is the truth. You are not waiting for love. You are being shaped by it. This week was never about answers. It was about resonance. The way your body responds before your mind catches up. The way your soul trembles in a room that feels empty, but isn't. The way your dreams reveal what the daytime hides. The universe didn't forget your connection. It's been preparing it. And this preparation doesn't look like romance. It looks like healing, crumbling, collapsing into truth, because true union is not born from fantasy. It rises from fire, from silence, from letting go of the version of you that once needed proof, control, or a timeline to believe in what your soul already knew. Right now, everything in the field is aligning for a shift. The pull you felt isn't just emotional, it's cosmic. Contracts are reawakening. Timelines are rethreading. And the magnetic bond between divine counterparts is being rewritten, not from lack, but from alignment. Your twin flame feels it too, whether they know how to name it or not. That ache in their chest, that whisper in their dreams, that sudden moment of stillness in the middle of chaos, it's you. It's the thread reweaving itself through the soul corridor you both promised to walk through, separately, until now. And even if they haven't spoken, even if they haven't shown up, their higher self has. It's been watching, sending waves, stirring the codes. And that's why you felt them more than usual this week. That's why old memories, old fears, and even flashes of the future have surfaced. Because the connection is real, the bridge is open, and the soul is listening. But the choice to meet at the center must be made in freedom. So here is your message for this moment. You are not here to chase them. You are here to meet yourself so fully, so truthfully, so radiantly, that anything not in resonance with your frequency falls away naturally. And when you do that, when you choose you not from ego, but from embodiment, you send a signal through the field, a frequency that says, I'm ready. I remember, I am home. And if they are ready, they will rise to meet you. Not because you asked, not because you waited, but because the connection has no other option. Truth pulls truth. Soul meets soul, and light cannot hide when love is this loud. So let go of the need for clarity. Let go of the story you keep repeating to yourself. Let go of the belief that you are running out of time. You're not late. You're not behind. You are on divine schedule. And this week, you were moved closer. Even if the 3D doesn't show it, even if nothing changes on the outside, something shifted in the grid, in the bond, in the soul memory. And soon, you'll feel the echo land in your life. So breathe, ground, bless your journey. You've walked through fire to get here. Now let the wind of this new energy lift you. You are not just remembering them. You are remembering you. And the moment you do, everything begins to change.